Let's say you've got a father who doesn't want to really be involved in the life at all, really. He knows that if she carries through the pregnancy, he's going to have possibly some sort of child support obligation. And so what he wants to do is he wants to, in a sense, encourage her to go and find a way to get an abortion, because he knows that if it's a certain individual, if he has any kind of familiarity with her, he knows that she might be of such a state of mind, she may be in such a vulnerable position that she decides it's not worth everything he's going to put me through to carry this pregnancy forward. It's going to be easier, it's going to be better for me to go and just terminate this life. And so what she does is she goes over to Virginia, she goes over to some other state where abortion is legal, and she goes and gets the abortion. And so I think that's a really clear possibility if we enact the Second Amendment here. I don't want to be doing anything whatsoever that is encouraging folks to go and get an abortion.
There's a lot that I don't know in politics. There's a lot that I'm not sure about in politics, but I am sure of this. Whether a person has bodily autonomy should, at the end of the day, be up to people like Chris Pritt, who you saw in that video, definitely. A guy who seems very confused about his own point. Now, he has a law practice, Pritt Law, specializes in divorce, custody arguments, and child support. And he seems to be making a pretty clear argument in that video that if child support exists, then that is gonna influence whether a guy encourages a girl to get an abortion because he doesn't wanna pay the money, so he wants to get rid of the kid. So we're gonna get rid of abortion, which still leaves the guy in a difficult financial position that we're not gonna help him in, and might lead him to do something even crazier since now abortion's illegal, but we're not gonna address that. He seems to be making the argument for getting rid of it so that guys won't want the abortion because they won't have to pay child support. It's very confusing. Yes. And that's even before we get into what the reference to the Second Amendment was doing in there. But Francesca, what do you make of this guy?
I mean, he's trying to make a case for his Pritt Law offices, like his services. He's like, what I'm trying to say is 555, like child support. That's what you call Mr. Pritt over here, and I will help you since you didn't want to support this child anyway. I'll help you get out of it. And if your partner won't support, then I will help you as well. Like that's all he's doing. He's just trying to make a financial case for the fact that like lawyers like him are trying to, leech off of working people. But the reality is this, yeah, man, it is a reality that a lot of men are not ready to be fathers because they are not financially able to be fathers. Yeah. Right? Whether or not they're with their partners, whether or not they are not with their partners, that is a perfectly legitimate concern. However, that is still the decision, I would argue, of the person who is pregnant, but it for sure is a factor, right? And so I feel like he's making the argument for abortion being legal, Again, not mandatory, right? Legal and safe and accessible. That's all. So, I mean,
well, he's clearly acknowledging. So it is interesting that the point of view that he like enters in this conversation on is about the financial obligation on a guy to do child support, because he apparently his like default assumption is that they're not going to be together. He's just going to bolt or whatever. But what about the obligation of, I don't know, the person giving birth to the child? What about them? Like, you seem to acknowledge that that's a big burden. Would you like to do something about that? No, let's manipulate it in the other way. And someone in the chat is saying, Stefmont, thank you, says that it's just a coincidence that he's saying a Second Amendment. What he means is the Second Amendment to the bill that they're considering. Okay, so that's confusing, but that's a clarification there. All of this, regardless of what he meant to communicate, and we're gonna get to what he has said in the last couple in the last couple days, but he's acknowledging that financial strain. if you can acknowledge that, if you can say that that would strongly influence whether a person would want to have a child or not, then is that not something that we should consider? I don't feel like that's asking too much.
No, it's not, and it's actually, but it's also really sad that we have to, generally consider the father's perspective or the person who's usually not the one giving birth's perspective in order to sort of like Rube Goldberg our way into empathy for the person actually carrying a child that they don't want. Yeah. like cool, whatever you need to do to understand what 50% of this population goes through and how you got onto this earth. Cool. Yeah.
That's the closest approximation of empathy that they can do. It involves a mouse on a wheel, and then the candle pops, and then the candle, yep. I don't know. Anyway, he says a portion of how much time? Okay. Look, we're gonna bring it up. You can see he's at Pritt for the People. Chris Pritt, possibly even worse than Chris Pratt. He says that he is not actually saying we shouldn't have child support. It is possible that's true. It's possible that he just wrung himself up into a knot of his own arguments. It's also possible that he's backtracking because of a massive amount of condemnation from around the country. I don't know the guy. We'll see what else he has to say. But this is the sort of person that believes your rights should be up to them. Let's just be clear about that.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.